Those of you who are aligning yourself with our ministry, we thank God for you. Those of you who are following us on Instagram, thank God for you. Those of you who are following us on Twitter, and there are literally a whole lot of people that want to be our Facebook friends, and I got you all lined up. As soon as I get an open slot, I'm going to put you in as a friend. Because some people do leave us after that. I say something they don't like. That happens. But those of you who stay with me, even though I say things that you don't understand, it may be a bit above your pay grade. You know, I am the Lord's servant. I truly am. And I'm 40 years at this. You would have to think for just a second that 40 years of doing what I do, that there's a level of appreciation that perhaps you just coming into the political sphere, or maybe into a sense of religious sphere, that you may not be able to compete. Jesus said it this way. He says, I have things to say to you, but you're not ready to hear them now. And if I say them, you're going to be offended because of your immaturity. But those of you who are staying with me, and those of you who desire to be a part of my friends on Facebook, thank God for you. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. We're finally trying to rebuild our YouTube channel again after they took it away from us going back a few years ago. I also would like to say to you as well, I did an interview with a Chinese broadcast group not long ago, and I've been meaning to rebroadcast it here, and I'm going to bring it up and let you hear it shortly, because I think it's very important, the relationship that and the word that we have that reaches into China. Now, how is that important? It's important because a few years ago I was sitting out in a courtyard, Elizabeth and I, and a woman came by, and she stopped and she says, "You've been in prison." She didn't really know me. She was from Brisbane, Australia. And she said, "I could look in your face and tell." And she went on to talk about it, and all she spoke was truth. During the same time, however, we had a television broadcast. There was a sponsor of ours that was sponsoring us on television in Brisbane. Now, I think that television, that spot we had on Brisbane television in Australia, I think it ended when we started slamming Tribulation Trump and named them Tribulation Trump. They took us down off of television in Brisbane. I want to give you a global perspective of the things that I know that are taking place and the reach of where we are. And I want to read a statement, because I want to make one further statement from one of our members named Jack that lives in a place called Thornley, Western Australia. Now, I don't know if Western Australia is a part of the outback or part of the indigenous people of Australia. I don't know. But he says he's been a member of ATLAH since 2009. And we were very popular in Australia when we had our television broadcast in Brisbane. And he says, "I've been trying to donate on your CashApp, but it keeps saying that it's unavailable in Australia on my iPad." That leads me to this. I need your prayers. I need your support. You will get truth. You may not like it, and it may take you years. It may take you years to understand the truth that I speak. And though you've heard me rail against the black man, let me tell you why I do. That's because I love him. I'm madly in love with him. And it's so painful to see him so impotent. It's so painful to see the black man so without. He's homeless. He's addicted. He's sick. And I tell him the truth because I love him. I could lie to him and get him to vote for me, or lie to him and get him to make me popular. I could lie to him and sell him dope, or sell him rap music, or tell him I'm going to help him and then turn and bow down to the king of Saudi Arabia. I tell him the truth because I love him. He ain't never been loved the way I love him. He ain't never been loved the way I love him. So I want you to continue to pray. And those of you who understand and can see my love, continue to support. Now, the mail is very slow here in New York City. If you're going to send gifts, use CashApp. And if you're going to donate by mail, then go to our ATLAH Media Network. There's a feedback channel there, and say, well, Pastor Manning, I just put my offering in the mail, so I'll know at least it's coming, because it may take a couple of weeks to get here. But I ask you for your continued prayers and support. And we're more than conquerors, more than victorious. I'm 40 years at this. 40 years. 40 years. And I'm just beginning. Like Moses, he just got started after 40 years. God told me last year that I'm just beginning. After 40 years. Stay with me. Listen to me. You're not going to understand. That ain't your job. Your job is to obey.